All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of The Potential Project. I'm your host, Sean Calhoun, and if you're here, it's because you're ready to reduce stress, burn stubborn fat, and get your body working with you instead of against you. On this podcast, we're all about simple, no BS strategies for fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle. This way, you can feel strong, confident, and in control. I'll give you the tools, mindset shifts, and habits to help you look and feel your best without spending hours in the gym or stressing over every single meal. Now, let's get into it.
Now, today on this episode, we're going to talk a little bit more about mindset because I think it is one of the most, if not the most important driving factor for your success with your health long term. Because that's what we're all here for, right? We want to learn habits, ways, things that we can do so that we can live our happiest, healthiest life to then go live, right? Go spend time with our family, go experience things, go explore, go travel, and not have to worry about being in pain, feeling inflamed, dealing with all of the nuances of our health, right? The goal isn't to live your life thinking about your health all the time. It's to be aware and to have the habits and standards in place so that you can just go out and live. Now, recently in my life, I've been trying to slow things down and reflect, right? And be present because presence is, the biggest virtue that we can all ask for, right? Because time flies by. Now, I'm only 30, but I've gotten to the point where when you blink, a week goes by. And I've heard this from older people in the past where they say weeks turn into days and life goes by so fast if you don't, slow it down and be present with what you're doing. And I can confirm that right now I've experienced that, right? Where you're going through life, you're focused on work and events that you have going on that it seems like a week goes by in a blink of an eye, and you're measuring life not day to day, you're measuring it week to week or even month to month, right? You might think a month is a very long time, but again, time goes by. And I feel like the longer time we've spent on the earth, like when I'm 60, I'll feel like it goes by even faster. So I'm trying to be aware of that stuff and catch it now. But the point of today's episode and what we're going to be talking about isn't the concept of time. I'm not sitting here trying to bore you with talking about time and quantum physics and all that stuff. That's for another date. Today, we're going to be talking about this scenario. The one where if you've ever felt like you're crushing your health goals from Monday to Thursday, maybe Friday, and then Sunday night and Monday morning comes back around and you feel like you're starting all over again. This is what we're going to be talking about. And the idea got brought up to me when I was thinking about time. When I was saying to myself, man, like, that was a whole week ago or that was 3 weeks ago. Like, it feels like, boom, it went by so fast, right? And then you say, man, this is what's happening to people with their goals, with their health, and with their life in general. We seem to live 1 week at a time. And the concept that I want to explain is that when it comes to your health goals and building momentum and building some consistency in life, life doesn't know what day it is. It doesn't look at life as days and weeks and months. There is no calendar to life. It just is, right? Every day is a new day and it's continuous. So we have to remove that. And the reason why this got brought to my attention is because I see folks who are reliving the same week over and over and over again, and they're never able to break through to that next level of their health. Let me give you an example. You have a goal. You want to insert it here, insert it there, lose weight. You want to improve your sleep. You want to improve your energy, reduce joint pain, whatever it is. You can insert your goal there. You kind of seek out what to do. You know intuitively some things what to do, but you did some research on YouTube. You saw a couple posts on Instagram, maybe even hired a coach. So you have the what to do. And then the week starts and you're like, all right, I'm motivated. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do the meal prep. I'm going to hit all my stride. And that happens. You feel really good. You feel in control. You do it again Tuesday. You do it again Wednesday. By Thursday, you're a little bit sore. The week has been crazy at work, so you're stressed out behind that. And then Friday, you kind of like coast. And then guess what happens for not everyone, most people on the weekend, is that our schedule changes. We have this routine, rigorous schedule Monday through Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday comes, we no longer need to set an alarm. We don't have any work to do. Maybe we have some events that are scheduled. Things are going on. We want to decompress. We want to spend time with friends and family, yada, yada. You know how the weekends go. But then Sunday night comes back around and we fear it. We're like, oh my God, here we go again. It's Monday and we have to start this journey again, right? But it's not only the journey with work, it's the journey with ourself and our habits and right, where like you kind of didn't work out all weekend, you didn't eat right, and then you're like, crap, let me just start this up again on Monday. And the sheer fact of a Monday is motivating enough for you to get back on the horse. And this is the problem at hand, because you cannot build momentum, you cannot make progress, you cannot create compounding long-term effects if that's how you're living your life and that's how your mindset is right now. So I want you to step back and reflect and say, is this me? Is this how I'm living my life with my health journey on a week-to-week basis, where it's all great and you're motivated and things are awesome on Monday, but then by the time Friday comes, you're ready to just crash out, do whatever. I deserve this meal. I need to unwind from work. I'm stressed out. And then you reset that cycle. Because let me tell you, weeks go by fast, like I mentioned before. Time will go. It's going to happen anyway. A week, you're going to blink your eye, it's going to be gone. And then you're going to be left feeling frustrated. It's going to be a Monday again. And you're going to say, oh no, here we go again. I'm having the same conversation. I haven't really made any progress. And it's been weeks and weeks and weeks. And why haven't I made progress? Well, that, my friend, is what we're going to talk about today, because I do not want to see you on a hamster wheel for weeks and months and years on end, feeling frustrated with yourself that we can't make progress. And then what happens worse is we sabotage ourselves because we think we're the problem. We're no good. We can't figure this out. Why? And then that becomes the victim mentality, where we beat ourselves up and then we stop altogether. And then that does not create change, and that doesn't leave us in a good position. So before that spiral happens, we have to have this conversation today, and we have to bring up not only what is causing the problem, what's happening when that's going on, but we need to reflect and know that most people deal with this, and then we need to throw in some scenarios of what can we do to get out of this trap, because I don't want to see you frustrated anymore at this cycle, this vicious cycle that we're living on. So the first thing is that there is a difference between momentum and motivation. Motivation happens in the first scenario that we were just talking about, where you listen to a podcast, you see an Instagram post, you realize that it's Monday, and you are motivated to take action. And guess what? You do. But that fuel runs off pretty quickly, right? That motivation to help you post on social media or get to the gym or meal prep, that fades pretty quickly as the stress of life and work happens throughout the week. So we're motivated, and then by the end of the week, we're exhausted, we are fed up, we are just ready to unwind, party, have a good time, whatever it is. And then you restart that cycle. Where momentum is not restarting, it is a cumulative effect. If we were looking at a bar graph here, or a line graph, it would look like low, low, low at the bottom, and then kind of hockey stick. It's the same thing that happens with compounding interest in money, how I talk about it all the time. It's like, all right, you're saving money for retirement, and at the beginning it's small little increments, and then towards the end you have a ton of money in your retirement account by the time you're ready to retire. Same thing happens with your habits and your health and momentum. We need to build off of it and do small incremental adjustments over a long period of time with minimal breaks. Because if you break, you're stopping the momentum, you're stopping that snowball of positive energy in the right direction, and you're having to regain that inertia as it goes. That's another good example is the snowball effect, right? You start with this little snowball, and then as it's rolling down the mountain, it picks up more snow and also picks up speed and velocity, and all of a sudden it's an unstoppable force. Same thing can happen with your health habits, right? And it sounds goofy and it sounds stupid, but hear me out. If you, person number one, were to, start their week strong, work out a couple times, eat a couple healthy meals, and then by Friday they're chalking it all up, eating like crap, drinking a ton of alcohol, just falling, not sleeping well, going off of all of what they did all week. All the momentum and all of the good habits that they built throughout the week has gone out the window, and then they restart. Versus person number two, who has a decent week, but they don't look at life as Monday through Friday and then the weekends. They just look at life as one day at a time, and they do what they can, and they take little steps, even on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, to continue their health building habits and their mindset and their things that are working towards living optimally, well, then they don't have to start over on that next Monday. They're just going to do a little bit more and a little bit more. And then guess what? 4, 8, 12, 16 weeks go by. This person who has never technically stopped and started over, and they're just kind of building off their momentum, will be so much further ahead. And not only will they be further ahead, their habits and their standards and their mindset will be ingrained to a sense that it's becoming a lifestyle. Now, we talk about this a lot, right? I don't want a diet, I want a lifestyle. I don't want a workout plan, I want a lifestyle. Well, this is who I'm talking to right here. The person who wants the lifestyle needs to understand that it doesn't come from mustering up momentum 1 week at a time. It comes from building momentum and sticking to what you can control on a day-to-day basis over the entirety of your life, not just repeating the same week over again. So I hope this idea and this concept is landing with you guys in the sense where maybe you can reflect and say, man, I really haven't been making progress, although I've been working out, although I've been eating some good meals. You're doing these things, and these are the people that, seem shocked about it. And I'm reflecting on this is because I've been there. I'm someone who prioritizes my health, but if I'm not doing it in a compounding way, you kind of just level off, like you maintain. And in life, you're either growing or you're dying. So really, when you're maintaining, that means you're slowly getting worse. Your health is not improving, so therefore it's slowly getting worse. So I don't mean to say this to scare you. I mean to say this so that you can take some action and see it from a clear lens, right? If no one ever brought this up to you, maybe you think it's nothing, or maybe you think you're crazy that you're not getting results, or that it's the workouts that you're doing, or whatever it is.
Hey, hope you're loving the episode so far. Thanks for spending some time with me. I got a quick favor to ask. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast because that's how I know you're getting value from the show. And this way, you never miss an episode. All right, now back to the show.
It could very well be the fact that you're living your life off of 1 week basis and off of motivation rather than living your life from a consistent momentum based approach. Now, what do we do? What does this all mean, and why does it apply to me? Well, because if you don't do anything about it now, you're going to blink. 10, 15 years are going to go by, and then you're going to say, oh my gosh, I'm still in the same exact place, if not worse than I was back then. So it doesn't matter if you're 20 years old listening to this, if you're 75 years old listening to this. If you are living and breathing, you can take a stand today and make significant progress in not that long a time. You have to shift your mindset from one of motivation to one of momentum. So here's what I'm talking about, right? When you are going throughout your days and you are taking different strides to build your health. That means you're moving, you're exercising, you're nourishing your body with real whole foods, you are sleeping, quality sleep, which means you have a nighttime routine, you have a morning ritual, like you are protecting your time asleep very well, which is going to protect your circadian rhythm when you wake up with the sun, right? You're doing these steps. You need to think about it in a sense that if I continue to do a little bit over the long course of time, I will eventually become the person who has the health that I desire. I say this all the time. It's not about achieving a material thing or a state of being. It's becoming, right? You don't just snap your fingers and achieve health. You become the person who is healthy. And in order to do that, we need to control the controllables. So this is the most empowering thing, and this is what some of the action steps are that I want to bring to you that you can take from this and start doing things today. Because I've been there. Like I said, I have been very motivated and crushed the beginning of my week, and then the new week comes, and after doing that for a couple of weeks, what happens is I would get anxiety. I'd say, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm in this whirlpool of like stress where like I can't make any progress. I am still at the same spot in my journey. And I don't know what's going on because I do exercise, I do plan the meals, I do eat healthy. Why is the needle not moving? Well, it's because I'm stopping the momentum. Imagine you are, let's use like a locomotive, like some type of mode of transportation. You're in a car. Let's just do something simple, right? and you start going downhill. You don't need to use much gas. Maybe you tap the pedal and it gets you going downhill. And then all of a sudden you slam on the brakes and you stop. And then you start going again, and then you slam on the brakes and then you stop, right? You're not ever going to build up a full head of steam. It's going to take a lot of energy, and you're not going to be able to get to your destination with ease. Life and your health habits are the same way. So when we want to build momentum towards our goal, we just need to do things on a consistent basis every single day. And this isn't me saying you need to be a drill sergeant and you need to be perfect, because I also have that same mentality, right? Where it's like extreme, all or nothing. I'm measuring everything to the perfect extent, and if not, I'm a failure, I'm a loser, right? That is also the other extreme that we don't want to step into. What I do mean is controlling what you have control of. So let's look at our health habits in general. Let's say you want to work out 5 times a week. You know that you should drink a certain amount of water. Let's say it's 100 ounces a day. You want to hit 100 ounces of protein, and you want to work towards 8,000 steps a day, right? Like those are like your foundational things that you want to do. And maybe you want to get 8 hours of sleep. And you start off Monday, you're very motivated, and you're doing that every single day. That's amazing. But what I want you to think about doing is when Friday, Saturday, and Sunday comes, don't think to yourself, oh my gosh, I have to be in bed by 9 p.m. and I have to wake up by 6 a.m. because that's what I did every single day during the week. And then I have to wake up, do my workout. You don't have to follow the same exact plan. But what you do have to do is figure out what are the things that I'm in control of, even if my schedule changes during the weekend. So let's say you have a family party or a graduation party, or you want to go away to the beach or take a vacation, or you should enjoy your life if that's your time where you are not working. But you have to say to yourself, what can I do when my schedule is different to continue this momentum? So let's say you worked out, 5 days during the week and you want to prioritize movement. Yeah, maybe you don't get to the gym and do a hour-long hardcore lift, but maybe you prioritize a walk, or maybe you scheduled in a hike. That is something where you're controlling the controllables, and it is in the realm of moving towards momentum in your goal. So it's not like you went from exercising really, really hard and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you just called it quits and didn't do it at all. You still moved your body, you still exercised, but it was in a different fashion. But what's most important about this is 2 things. Number one, it's building momentum because you continued to move your body, and the results of that physically are going to show up. But mentally, you just told yourself that you're someone who keeps their word. You told yourself, I want to exercise, I want to prioritize movement, and you adjusted it, but you still did it. So now you're building confidence in yourself, and you're building momentum physically with your goals. So with water, maybe you're like, all right, I'm going to drink 100 ounces of water every single day, and you do that Monday through Friday, but you know that on Saturday you've got to be in the car for a while and you're traveling, and you just either won't have the water with you, or you don't want to have to go to the bathroom, whatever it is. But you still said, you know what? Instead of 100 ounces, I know I could get 64. So let me make sure that I pack that much water with me for the drive. I know where the road, the stop is, the rest stop is, and I know that I'll be able to consume 64 ounces. And you do that. Well, then guess what? Same thing happens. You built momentum because you continued to hydrate yourself, and you proved to yourself that you could do it, and you built that momentum. And that goes with any type of your health habits. Let's say it's meal prepping, right? Let's say you ate really healthy all week long, and instead of just trashing the diet and eating whatever you want over the weekend, you did takeout, right? Maybe you guys had pizza, but instead of getting fries, you had a side salad. That's a win. You made a healthy alternative, and you stayed in control mentally. Like, you controlled what you could control. You didn't let the opposite happen and let life happen to us. Or it's going to be a busy weekend and you have a family dinner to get to on Sunday night. So earlier in the day, Sunday, you went grocery shopping and you took an hour or 2 to do some meal prep so that you had lunches ready to go before you even went to the party. So now, again, you have lunches for the week. You went grocery shopping, you did something for your health, your nutrition, and you proved to yourself that even with family events, even with a busy schedule, you could stay in control. So I hope this is landing, guys. And these are some of the things that I want us to start to take into consideration to do when these scenarios pop up. So this would be the taking action part, right? I want you to think about all the things that you're doing throughout the week that are building you towards a healthier lifestyle. Have you taken up walking? Do you have a great nighttime routine? Are you waking up in the morning and getting sunlight and grounding? Like whatever the habits that have been working for you during the week that you're doing, I want you to acknowledge those. And then I want you to acknowledge what is falling off during the weekend. Is it all falling off? Or just a couple falling off? And then you need to realize that no one's perfect and you don't have to be a drill sergeant about it, but you need to take back control of your life so that we don't play the victim and restart this motivation game every single week. We need to start building momentum. Taking that walking scenario, let's say you're able to get 10,000 steps a day. And then on Saturday, you know that you're not going to be able to get 10,000 steps. Set a smaller goal or set the intention to at least get some walking in or prioritize it. Because the biggest thing that that's going to do, like I said, is not only is it going to keep your body moving in the right direction, you'll burn some calories, it'll have a cumulative effect on the physical traits of your body, but mentally, you are going to shift from a person who leans on motivation and you're going to be someone who builds momentum. And then the best thing about momentum is after you've done this for weeks on end, it becomes easier, right? Like the money scenario. At first, you're doing these small incremental, deposits into your account. But then when you're 65 or 70, you've got a ton of money in there and it makes a larger jump on the increase that it does into your account. The same thing goes for your health habits, right? If you're someone who eats healthy no matter what and prioritizes whole foods, well, then the one day that you do have ice cream or that you do slip up, it's not going to be a detriment to your health because you'll have built up so much cumulative effect from all the good healthy foods. Same thing with walking. If you're someone who walks every day and you don't get 10,000, well, guess what? You're still going to get the benefit of walking a little bit less because you've done it for a long, long time. So guys, I don't mean to harp on this and throw out 10 million examples. Hopefully this hit home. Just reflect. Are you someone who lives on a week-to-week basis? If so, that's the first check. Are you someone who lives off of motivation, where like every Monday you're gung-ho, but then by the end of the week you're burnt out and ready to just go do whatever for the weekend? Once we acknowledge that, we now have the first step that it takes to take some action, right? Then the next step is to lay out what habits you're currently doing and what's currently working, and take an abbreviated version of that and say, what can I control when my schedule isn't the same? We work from 9 to 5. We have this routine where we know where we're going to be, we know what we have to do, and we know what we can schedule in there. But when things change, we can't throw that all out the window. So say, all right, I'm going to be in control of my movement, I'm going to be in control of my food intake, and I'm going to be in control of my sleep. And then make abbreviated scenarios where you are the one doing those habits every single day. Because remember, your body doesn't know what a week is. It doesn't know what a month is. It just is. It just survives and it operates on a day-to-day basis. So once you can take back control, I promise you, commit to that, and you're going to start building up so much momentum that you'll look back and say, oh my gosh, look how far I've come. So I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Take this, take some action on it, and if you got some value, please share it with a friend.
Hey, thanks for spending some time with me on today's episode. I hope you got a ton of value from it. If we're not connected on Instagram yet, let's change that. Hit me up at Sean Calhoun _. That's SEAN Calhoun _. Shoot me a DM. Let me know what you think of the show or if you got any questions about how to level up your health. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on the next episode.